You're watching News at 10. Our headlines tonight. Government yet to decide on lifting chicken export ban. And police bust job fraud syndicate. 5 arrested. And welcome once again. Chairman of Special Task Force on Jihad Against Inflation, Tan Sri Anwar Musa, said the government has yet to decide on changing the chicken export ban policy despite its price in the market has begun to stabilize. Tan Sri Anwar said this is to ensure that chicken supplies for domestic consumption remain stable and the price stays below ceiling price level.
Pada masa ini, ekspor ayam masih tidak dibenarkan. Dan kita ada mendapat feedback bahawasanya bekalan ayam pada masa ini ada berlebihan dan dengan itu harganya telah mula stabilize, malah telah turun kepada paras harga di bawah harga ceiling. Namun kerajaan belum membuat apa-apa keputusan untuk mengubah dasar-dasar yang telah ditetapkan tersebut.
He also said the Ministry of Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs, KBD and HEP, will be providing updates from time to time regarding the chicken export ban policy. He added the ministry will also conduct surveillance on total imported and locally produced chicken stocks, should the need to allow some of it to be exported arise. 131 individuals believed to be the victims of human trafficking syndicates were rescued and provided with protection from January to 30th July 2022. Minister of Women, Family and Community Development, Dato Sri Rina Harun, said all of them were granted interim protection order or IPO and 35 of them were issued protection order. Elaborating further, Dato Sri Rina said investigations revealed that all of the victims were exploited as forced labour, sex slaves, including the sale of children. She added that the ministry provided protection houses as well as basic necessity supply and other facilities to the victims.
Mereka juga diberikan wang saku, mereka juga diberikan peluang untuk mendapatkan pekerjaan dan mereka juga diberikan kemahiran tertentu seperti TVET program, kemahiran kraft tangan, kemahiran komputer dan sebagainya. Jadi di sini kita menjaga mereka dengan memberikan perlindungan yang terbaik.
She also called on public awareness on human trafficking crimes and to not take the matter lightly. Dato Sri Rina was met at a media conference on the 2022 World Day Against Trafficking in Persons in Petaling Jaya, Selangor earlier today. Now, police have busted a fraud syndicate offering jobs through e-commerce platforms involving losses of 843,996 ringgit, with the arrest of 5 individuals, including a foreigner, in a raid at a residential premises in Cyberjaya on Tuesday. Sepang Police Chief ACP 1 Kamarul Azran 1 Yusof said that the 5 suspects, comprising 4 locals and a Thai citizen, aged 17 to 32, have been remanded for 3 days, beginning yesterday. Elaborating further, ACP1 Kamarul said the modus operandi of the syndicate was to advertise job offers on Facebook and Instagram, and the scammers would assign the victims to sell products from online companies created by them.
Apabila ada bakal mangsa memohon mangsa perlu membuat bayaran jumlah harga yang ditunjukkan dalam iklan syarikat online ini. Selesai membuat bayaran, mangsa akan menerima 10% dari bayaran yang dibuat. Mangsa akan dibayar berdasarkan kepada tugasan dia 1 kali, 2 kali ataupun 3 kali berdasarkan kepada jumlah komisen yang diterima. Dan kemudiannya, mangsa tidak akan diberikan apa-apa bayaran.
5 units of laptop and smartphones believed to be used for the criminal activities were also seized in the raid. The case is being investigated under Section 420. ACP 1 Kamarul said police is in the process of freezing 22 mule accounts used for sales transactions for the non-existing products. He added that the owners of the accounts will be called to have their statements recorded. The Special Committee on Corruption, JKMR, has recommended the government to establish an anti-corruption court at all levels, from the Sessions Court, High Court, Court of Appeal and Federal Court. This was among the proposals mooted by the JKMR, which was submitted to the Prime Minister, Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob.
Ketiga ialah berhubung dengan perlunya mahkamah anti rasuah atau mahkamah mengenai rasuah diwujudkan di negara kita secara khusus dari mahkamah session, mahkamah tinggi, mahkamah rayuan dan mahkamah persekutuan dengan hakim-hakim yang berpakaran, tidak ditukar ganti mengikut musim. Ini akan memberi satu suasana ketetapan, kepakaran, juga kejituan mahkamah itu khusus mengenai rasuah. Kami telah mengemukakan ini dan ini merupakan salah satu daripada cabaran besar dan mendapat perhatian kerajaan.
Tan Sri Raya said this to reporters after handing over the 2020 annual report book of the committee to the Prime Minister in Parliament. The submission of the report book is in accordance with Section 14, Subsection 5 of the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission Act 2009, which provides that JKMR must prepare and submit an annual report on the performance of the Special Committee's functions to the Prime Minister. Tan Sri Raya, who is also the Dewan Negara Speaker, added that the proposed creation of this court is directly related to the country's 2021 Corruption Perception Index ranking, which continues to fall to 62. Coming up next, Ministry expands eligibility scope for Peranti Siswa tablet program. Stay with us. The scope of eligibility for the Peranti Siswa tablet program has been expanded to 4 more categories of B40 students. Communications and Multimedia Minister Tan Sri Anwar Musa said the 4 new categories are students in foundation programs at public institutions of higher learning, students under the Education Ministry's matriculation program, Form 6 students in schools under Education Ministry, and students in vocational colleges that offer diploma studies.
Saya juga ingin memaklumkan dalam permohonan fasa pertama yang telah dibuka, terdapat sejumlah kira-kira hampir 40% daripada pemohon didapati tidak layak tapisan awal. Untuk memastikan tidak ada yang tercicir, proses rayuan akan mula dibenarkan kepada mereka yang didapati permohonan tidak melepasi syarat permohonan secara online. Bagi membolehkan kes rayuan dibuat dengan cara yang lebih teratur, Kementerian mengambil keputusan untuk melibatkan kepimpinan persatuan-persatuan mahasiswa di universiti-universiti untuk membuat pengesahan-pengesahan, sementara bagi kes-kes rayuan pelajar-pelajar sekolah akan melibatkan pemimpin-pemimpin tempatan termasuk ahli-ahli parlimen.
Application for Phase 2 of the program is now open until 30th September. In a related development, Tan Sri Anwar said the Procurement Committee had selected Samsung A8 LTE tablets to be given to the Peranti Siswa recipients in 5 zones, namely Sabah and Sarawak Zone, North Zone, Central Zone, East Zone and South Zone.
Proses perolehan peranti yang telah dibuka semula secara tender terbuka telah pun selesai dilaksanakan menjelang penghujung Julai 2022 berdasarkan kepada penelitian dan keputusan perolehan tender semula oleh Kementerian Kewangan. Justru itu, sukalah saya memaklumkan pada hari ini bahawasanya proses pemberian dan edaran peranti siswa akan dimulakan pada bulan ini. Untuk peringkat awalan ini dijangkakan kira-kira 350,000 unit yang telah terlibat dalam pesanan dan dijangka akan diagihkan kepada mahasiswa-mahasiswa pada.
He added if the tablets received by the students were damaged, they could apply for a replacement as the device came with a 2-year warranty. The minister said this during the Dewan Rakyat sitting earlier today. The Dewan Rakyat today was told that a total of 8,907 subsidy applications were approved for broiler chicken and egg-laying chicken breeders as of 29 July. Agriculture and Food Industries Minister Dato Sri Ronald Kiandi said the subsidy amounts to 748 million ringgit.
Dalam hal ini, buat pertama kalinya, kerajaan telah bersetuju memberi subsidi kepada penternak ayam pedaging dan ayam penelur berjumlah 1.1 bilion ringgit secara keseluruhannya bagi meringankan beban penternak ayam. Pemberian subsidi ini bermula daripada 5 Februari 2022 dan akan berakhir pada 31 Ogos 2022 ini.
According to Dato Sri Ronald, his ministry, through the Department of Veterinary Services, constantly monitors and holds engagement sessions with all stakeholders in the chicken supply chain, including at the farm level, to ensure supply and continuity of the country's chicken production is at an optimal and stable level. He also said that the ban on the export of commercial broilers that is still in effect is temporary. That is, until the price and production of chickens fully stabilize. The minister said this in response to a question from Kloang MP Wong Shu Chi, who wanted to know the losses faced by the chicken farming sector throughout Malaysia since the chicken export ban came into force on 1st June 2022. Malaysia-Turkey bilateral ties have been upgraded to a comprehensive strategic partnership CSP, effective from Prime Minister Dato Sri Semasa Yaakob's recent visit to Ankara. Foreign Minister Dato Sri Saifuddin Abdullah said moving forward, both countries have agreed to organize and conduct more discussions, both formally and informally, between the two countries' foreign ministers. Dato Sri Saifuddin further elaborated both countries are currently in the final round of negotiations to conclude the expansion of the Malaysia-Turkey Free Trade Agreement MTFTA, which would cover new areas, namely investment, services and e-commerce.
Both countries are in the final rounds of negotiations to conclude the expansion of the MTFTA, which would cover new areas such as investment, services and e-commerce. On currency swap, we are working to expedite the signing of the expansion of the MTFTA and also for both central banks to expedite the conclusion of the discussion on the currency swap within the parameters of the financial sphere.
The minister said this in a joint press conference with Turkey's Minister of Foreign Affairs Mevlut Çavuşoğlu at Parliament today. On continued investment through Malaysia Airports Holdings Berhad (MAHB) and Istanbul Sabiha Gökçen International Airport, certain issues on the further participation of MAHB at the international airport in Turkey were also raised by the Malaysian side during the meeting today. Meanwhile, Malaysia and Turkey are in the final stages of talks to widen scope of Malaysia-Turkey Free Trade Agreement MTFTA, covering investment, services and e-commerce. Prime Minister Dato Sri Semasa said this in a Facebook post after receiving courtesy call from Turkey Foreign Minister Mevlut Çavuşoğlu, who is on an official trip to Malaysia. Touching on food security issue, Dato Sri Semasa said both countries have agreed to cooperate in developing various sources of sustainable food chains for the benefit of both countries. The Premier also said the total trade between Malaysia and Turkey increased 74.2% from 9.74 billion ringgit in 2020 to 16.97 billion ringgit in 2021. A total of 5.2 billion ringgit in losses were recorded from 2020 until May 2022 in the country, involving online scams and cybercrime cases. In bid to curb online criminal activities, Ministry of Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs (KPDN-HEP), together with Meta Malaysia, launched the second edition of 2022 #TakNakScam campaign earlier today. Meta Malaysia Director Nicole Tan said the company is developing a technology that will be able to identify fake social media accounts used by online scammers in applications under its supervision through artificial intelligence or AI technology.
And so using a combination of machine learning and artificial intelligence, we continuously improve so that we learn how to make sure we identify and remove these accounts before they try to appear.
She added the focus of the campaign would be on 5 common types of online scams: e-business, illegal financing, job offers, online investment, and foreign money exchange. The campaign also aims to educate and increase public awareness on online scams and cyber crimes through immersive participation using the Instagram AR filters format. The campaign was first launched in July last year with support from KPDN-HEP, Bukit Aman Commercial Crimes Division, Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission (MCMC), and several other agencies.
We found out that
And in other news, local car maker Perodua received 24,265 bookings in July, bringing the year-to-date sales numbers to 145,689 units, a 48.7% jump from 97,945 units in the same period last year. President and Chief Executive Officer Datuk Sri Zainal Abidin Ahmad said this is a healthy sign that demand for Perodua's vehicles remains strong, despite the reinstatement of sales tax on 1st July. In a statement, he said the sales increase can be attributed to 2 main reasons, namely the strong demand for Perodua vehicles and the recovery of demand from the nationwide COVID-19 pandemic lockdown that happened between June and mid-August last year. Datuk Sri Zainal Abidin said the booking momentum, although not as strong as the bookings collected in the first half of 2022, was better than expected and is evidence that the automotive industry still has room to grow. He said the all-new Perodua Alza, which has a 3,000 monthly sales target, has so far received 39,000 bookings, of which 9,000 was collected in July. Meanwhile, the Perodua chief said the company is working closely with the government to overcome the labour shortage by early August, and the car maker expected its production to resume in full beginning this month. On the semiconductor issue, he said the company has secured enough chip supply for it to produce and register more than 247,800 units this year. Off to a quick break, and when we come back, Macau officials shorten quarantine duration for some inbound travellers. Stay with us.
999 application system. Getting emergency assistance is now easier. Save Me 999 Police connects the Malaysian public to the police. Save Me 999 Deaf for those with hearing or speech impairments. And Save Me 999 Blind for those with visual impairments. Download now for free on your smartphones. MERS 999 and applications make emergency calls easier.
And welcome back. Officials in Macau will ease quarantine requirements for inbound travellers from locations outside of mainland China from 6 August. Travellers arriving from Hong Kong, Taiwan or other international locations may quarantine for a shorter 7-day period instead of 10 days if they test negative for COVID-19 on arrival. Individuals must take 5 nucleic acid tests during quarantine and undergo self-health management for 3 more days. The new measures will also apply to travellers currently under quarantine in Macau. Authorities have also resumed quarantine-free travel from Macau to Zhuhai as of 4th August. Travellers must complete a health declaration, present a negative nucleic acid test results taken within 24 hours before arrival, and take another nucleic acid test within 48 hours after entering Zhuhai. Individuals in Macau must register their addresses or most frequented locations to receive a health code. Face masks are mandatory in public, and people must present a negative nucleic acid test result taken within 3 days to enter most venues. Bridges collapsed and river burst their banks as heavy rain lashed northern Japan on Thursday, with 200,000 residents urged to evacuate as authorities warn of dangerous flooding. A muddy mass of broken trees swept into a mountainous residential area by the downpours, which broke records in some areas. 2 people have been reported missing, according to government spokesman Hirokazu Matsuno. Authorities have warned of an increased risk of landslides and floods. Public broadcaster NHK said non-compulsory evacuation advisories were issued to 200,000 residents in 5 regions: Niigata, Yamagata, Fukushima, Ishikawa and Fukui. Scientists said climate change is intensifying the risk of heavy rain in Japan and elsewhere because a warmer atmosphere holds more water. Strong rain in 2021 triggered a devastating landslide in the central resort town of Atami that killed 27 people. And in 2018, floods and landslides killed more than 200 people in western Japan during the country's annual rainy season. Coming up in sports, Medvedev claims 250th career win in Los Cabos. Stay with us. World number 1 Daniil Medvedev, playing his first match in 6 weeks, beat Australian qualifier Rinky Hijikata 6-4, 6-3 on Wednesday at the ATP Hardcore Tournament in Los Cabos, Mexico. It was a milestone 250th match win of the reigning US Open champion's career. Banned from competing at Wimbledon because of Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine, the Russian top seed returned to his favoured hard courts for the first time since his run to the Miami Open quarterfinals in March. Medvedev gained the first break of the match to claim the opening set. He saved the first break point he faced in the opening game of the second and gained the break he needed for a 4-2 lead against Hijikata. The 21-year-old Australian world number 224 put up a fight, fending off a stream of break points before Medvedev closed it out after 90 minutes. The win also helped Medvedev get back into the hard court groove as he ramps up preparation for his US Open title defense. Medvedev next faces Richardas Berankis of Lithuania, who beat Argentina's Facundo Bagnis 7-6, 6-3. And Nick Kyrgios moved into the last 16 of the City Open at Rock Creek Park Tennis Center in Washington, D.C. on Wednesday night with a straight sets win over home player Tommy Paul. Wimbledon runner-up Kyrgios of Australia defeated US 14-seed Tommy Paul 6-3, 6-4 to book a third-round date with US 4th seed Riley Opelka. World number 63 Kyrgios, whose most recent title came at Washington in 2019, broke to open and close the first set. The Australian saved all 4 break points he faced against Paul, who used his athleticism and consistency to play his part in a crowd-pleasing match under the DC lights. The American created 3 of those break points at 2-all in the second set as he began to pick up the Kyrgios serve but could not edge in front. Paul's 4th double fault gave the Aussie a match point, and his forehand shot beyond the baseline gave Kyrgios the victory in 85 minutes. The Australian has now won 2 matches in Washington this week, having defeated American Marcus Giron in the first round. Kyrgios, the runner-up at Wimbledon last month, will face number 4 seed Riley Opelka next. Elsewhere, Hubert Hurkacz was sent packing by Finland's Emil Ruusuvuori in the second round of the City Open. The Polish second seed failed to capitalize on any of his 4 break-point opportunities throughout the match before going down 6-4, 7-6. Ruusuvuori, now set to reach one shy of his career high at 43rd in the rankings, denied Hurkacz on all 4 breakpoint chances to advance 1 hour and 44 minutes. His third-round foe will be Sweden's Mikael Ymer, who ousted 15 seeds Aslan Karatsev 6-4, 3-6, 6-4 after eliminating 3-time Grand Slam champion Andy Murray in round 1. US third seed Taylor Fritz beat Australia's Alexei Popyrin 6-4, 6-3 to book a third-round match against British 16 seed Daniel Evans. World number 13 Fritz come off a 5-set Wimbledon quarter-final loss to Rafael Nadal in 2 weeks in a boot with a stress fracture in his left foot. And in F1, British-born Thai driver Alex Albon will be staying at Williams beyond next season on a multi-year agreement. The Formula One team on Wednesday, however, said there was no words on his future teammate. The second seat is currently filled by Canadian Nicholas Latifi, with speculation he is likely to be replaced. Williams had flagged up on social media they were making an announcement, with Formula One followers in a high state of excitement after a couple of bombshells driver moves in the last 2 days. Australian Oscar Piastri, the youngster who was announced by Renault-owned Alpine as a 2023 driver on Tuesday and then publicly rejected the move, has also been linked to Williams. Albon joined the Mercedes power team this year following a year out of Formula One after losing his seat at Red Bull. The former champions are last in the standings after 13 races, with Albon scoring all 3 points so far. Latifi is the only driver on the grid who has yet to score. And that's it from us this evening. In our top story, government yet to decide on lifting chicken export ban. Join us for updates at noon at 12:30 tomorrow. Until then, it's lights out. I'm Brenda Lepol. Thanks for watching and take care.